Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Pointless Top 10, a show where we make top 10 lists out of pointless things, where we fly by pointless statue in Booty Bay, because inside pointless things are treasure. Let's begin. 10. Number 10 is a spot in Draenor Nagrand located near Halvalor Village, and it's located right above a waterfall, or I guess it is technically part of the waterfall, but I think it's a hot spring because it's all bubbling up, which I usually relate to hot springs, but whether it's a hot spring or not, you have a nice secluded swimming area all to yourself, which I also don't know how this floating device isn't like falling off the waterfall, but I'm not gonna ask questions. You've also got some beach towels and umbrellas here, so you can either sit in the sun or sit in the shade and just enjoy the scenery. It's a very nice, relaxing place. I will say that the one downside is you are right above Halvalor, which is the ancestral home of the Burning Blade clan, so they might get a little loud and angry down there, but you know, that's just, everything's gonna have its downsides. But overall, this is just a really nice, relaxing getaway spot up in the mountains of Nagrand, so that's why I decided to put it at number 10. 9. Number 9 is this little house located on top of one of the Narsong Spires, which are these two big spires located off the southern coast of the Krasarong Wilds. And in between the Narsong Spires is the Angler's Wharf. Now, I will say that if you don't like heights, this is probably not going to be the spot for you. But if you don't care about heights, this is an unbelievable spot. You've got a nice little deck pier thing you can walk out onto and look at the beach and look at the sky and the water and everything. The actual inside of the house is also pretty cozy as well. You've got a nice little bed, you've got food, which is really all you need, to be honest. You've also got a picture of Shenzin Su on the wall. That's the giant turtle that the Pandaren live on. And there's also a little grassy area with a bunch of cranes walking around, and there's a little house for taking care of the cranes. I think somebody probably feeds them or handles the eggs or something like that. I have no idea, but they will aggro, so don't try to get near them. And then if you go down onto the beach, there's a turtle eating fish, there's a hosen standing around, and then there's a silkworm doing flips through the air. So that's pretty cool. It's like seeing a free show. You got live entertainment. But either way, I think this would be a great spot to take a vacation at, unless you're afraid of heights. And that's why it's number 9. 8. Number 8 is the Isle of the Watchers Hotel, and don't mind all of the danger signs outside, alright? They just put those there for decoration, but if you go inside the Isle of the Watchers Hotel, it's actually a pretty cozy, fire-lit atmosphere. And the reason I'm calling it a hotel is there's a few little rooms in here that have their own curtains that kind of separate each room, so it's really nice, but I'm not sure it actually is a hotel. It just reminded me of it. I do think this place is a vibe. Sure, there may be poop on the ground. Sure, there may be fish bones laying around, but you know what? If you're a Murloc, this is a 5-star vacation, all right? A Murloc would pay a bunch of money, a bunch of gold in order to stay in a place like this. In fact, Sir Finley probably needs a vacation. He's been dealing with all the Delve stuff and the War Within. He probably just needs a nice getaway. He can come here, relax by the fire, eat some fish or fish bones, whatever he's into, and just have a nice time. So I think that's why the Isle of the Watchers Hotel Cave is number 8. 7. Number 7 are the Steam Pools, and the Steam Pools are an area in southern Fairless that houses a holiday resort for the rich run by Gadgetson. And the resort seems to offer many things from mammoth rides to boat rides on the lake, food, drinks, but according to many guests, at outrageous prices, which doesn't shock me too much. So you would think this place would be higher up on the list, but there's a lot of question marks here, specifically this large barrel that looks like it's about to burst at any second, so I don't know how relaxing that is. Also, it seems like there's quite a lot of flies everywhere. Like, every other chair you look at is just a bunch of flies flying around. Like, you would think the goblins would invent some sort of anti-fly technology, especially for a fancy resort such as this one, but I guess they haven't figured that much out. Also, there's this orc that's just flexing that kind of looks like he's doing the beach is over, that way. But hey, you know what? There's still a lot of good stuff here. I mean, they do have the actual steam pools that are shooting off steam, so that's pretty nice. They got coconut drinks, they got a lot of good food, so I mean, this is still a pretty relaxing place. It's just, they got some areas where it's like, I don't know, so that's why the steam pools is number 7. 6. Number 6 is the Thastala House, and Thastala is a subzone of Val'sharah, and it is home to Elithir, the Archdruid of Lore. And it really is a beautiful area. There's great water outside, the trees are really nice, you got the Moonwell over here. The only issue is there's a lot of harpies. But there is a really nice house here. It's got this really nice carpet when you walk in. There's a winding stairwell that goes up the tree that's like the centerpiece of the house, holding it all up. And when you go upstairs, there's like a really nice type of bed and breakfast type of area. There's a bunch of beds, there's a sink, there's a bunch of food laid out on the tables, just a nice spread of food. And again, the downside of this vacation spot is there are numerous people getting treated from harpy injuries in the building. So even though you're upstairs enjoying your bed and breakfast or trying to read a book from the bookshelves here, it's just you probably are going to have a lot of agonizing screams from people that have suffered damage from the harpies. So maybe you could get a discounted rate on this place, but that would be great because it is a really beautiful location when there is none of that stuff going on, and that's why it's number 6. 5. Number 5 is the steam vent located in Donegal, and this place feels like a much nicer steam pools that we talked about earlier in Fairless. Like, everything is much cleaner. Everything seems much more up to date. You have actual steam beds that are like some crazy technology. Like, look at that. They've got the heated bed underneath, and you can sit on top of it. I guess it's like a hot rock, essentially. I mean, you can take a look at this guy on his heat bed. He is having a great time. He's falling asleep, which probably isn't the safest thing to do, but he is relaxed. There's a lot of people that are just enjoying their mead. They've got a bunch of mead all over. I was going to say it's beer, but I'm pretty sure it's mead because there's the whole, like, you know, the meadery and there's honey and bees and everything. Everybody, if you've played War Within, you're probably like, oh yeah, it's mead. I would say the only downside to this place is you are located in the city of Donegal. So you've got a bunch of just randos flying all over the place, like me trying to go to the auction house and the bank or being like, looking for group, right? That's got to be annoying. But aside from that, it's just a beautiful environment with the water and the rocks and the green growing on the rocks, and just, it's really nice. So that's why the steam vent in Donegal is number 5. 4. Number 4 is the Gallywix Pleasure Palace, and the Gallywix Pleasure Palace is the residence of, you guessed it, Trade Prince Gallywix, master of the Bilgewater Cartel. And the palace was built on the summit of the relocated Forlorn Ridge in western Azshara, northeast of Telendris Point. The Bilgewater goblins moved the mountain in order to strip mine its minerals, which I still hate them for because I love old Azshara. It was one of my favorite, like, weird, mysterious zones, and now it's just like completely ruined by goblin engineering. However, the Gallywix Pleasure Palace is still a fantastic spot if you want to take a vacation, because first off, I don't even think Gallywix is here. There's like nobody here, and the palace has an ocean view, a grenade golf course, a secret booze cellar, a luxury pool, and a sauna. Also, fun fact, apparently they were going to make the golf course playable with exploding balls, but they ran out of time. So Blizzard, I mean, if you want to go back, it's still here. You can still make it playable. But this really is a nice place. Like, it's a fantastic view. You've got the diving board and the pool all to yourself if you like swimming. And there's a bunch of Gallywix servants around here as well. Like, they're just walking around with food, or they're guarding stuff, or they're selling you stuff. Like, nobody's here. So, like, I don't know what they're doing. They must get paid. I mean, they're probably just doing their job. Like, yeah, I just get paid to stand around here, and I don't even have to talk to anybody because nobody's here. But hey, you know what? That makes it an even better vacation spot. You'll be the only one here. Well, and the workers, but they'll probably just give you food and drinks. So that's why the Gallywix Pleasure Palace is number 4. 3. Number 3 is this house located on the top of a mountain near Dawn's Blossom in the Jade Forest. And I think a lot of people know about this one. It must be popular because when I went here for the first time, I walked in and there were 2 people role-playing. It was a Blood Elf girl and a human guy or something, and they were sitting on the bench over here. And I was just like, I think I interrupted something, and so I just slowly backed out. But this is a very relaxing spot for a vacation. Like, you have this pond with a bunch of fish swimming around and some lily pads and the trees all over, and you can look out and see the mountains. You got the waterfall flowing over. Like, it's a really nice spot. Again, unless you're afraid of heights, in which case you're probably going to hate this spot. But then when you're actually inside the house, there's this really cool table with some artwork on it that's pretty neat. You've got this bed that kind of looks like a hammock that I thought was a hammock until I realized that it's just a weird boat-shaped bed, but there's a bunch of little totems on the shelves nearby the bed. The one right there, the little bird totem, I think that's my favorite totem out of all the ones on the shelves. It is kind of similar to the one we saw earlier in the Krasarong Wilds, but to me, I think the Jade Forest is just a little more relaxing, but that's also just a personal preference. So that's why I put it higher up on the list, and that's why it's number 3. 2. Number 2 is Kala and Tuktu's Grill, and that kind of rhymes, and I didn't actually intend for it to. So Kala and Tuktu's Grill is a small bar and grill area located on the northern coast of the Onaran Plains. And grill masters Kala and Tuktu sell examples of their race's different cuisines to Centaur, Drakthir, and Tuskar patrons. The place is decorated with a mix of Centaur and Tuskar objects, along with some Gorlok idols, and a Tuskar boat is beached on the shore below. In fact, there's an actual volleyball court down there, so if you want, you go down, play some volleyball. But this is definitely the place you go to if you're looking for a great meal along the water. You can actually see Kala and Tuktu grilling and cooking, and they're just cooking up some unbelievable stuff. Everything looks fresh. I would eat there in a heartbeat. But if you talk to them, Tuktu has improvised sushi, distilled fish juice, anchovy crisp, buttermilk, Gorlok fin soup, Tuskar port wine, and side boat. Meanwhile, Kala has Argali milk, Argali cheese, Dragon Spring water, seasoned mud stomper belly, frenzy and chips, own light, and Marukai mule. And so Kala and Tuktu's Grill seems like a fantastic spot to go on vacation, and that's why it's number 2. And number 1 is a combination of 2 spots in the Stormsong Valley. We have the Birdwatcher's tent up in the mountains, and we also have this really nice garden camp down near the water. And we'll start with the bird tent first because I love the view that the bird tent provides. Like way up in the mountains, you can look out, you can see the water, you can see the Stormsong Valley mountains, you can see literally everything in the zone. It's just an unbelievable point to, you know, sit at a campsite at, and you've got all your bird friends here, although I think the birds are just here because of the bird seed. Like there's a few big bags of bird seed and they're just like, dude, nice bird seed. But I mean, this is just an unbelievable spot way up in the mountains, looking out over the majestic views. You got your bird friends here. But then we also have this garden camp, and it's this big garden with a bunch of different fruits and vegetables all over. And then there's this little campsite. Well, I guess it's not really a campsite, but it is like a partially covered area, and it's got a rug there. And listen, it can be a nice relaxing sleeping area, all right? But when I saw these places, I was like, dude, I love Stormsong Valley, and these are just some nice little places in Stormsong Valley. So if I took a vacation in World of Warcraft, this is where I'd want to go, and that's why I put them at number 1. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this episode of Pointless Top 10. If you want more top 10s that relate to this episode, we had houses in the middle of nowhere. That was a fun one. And we also had food on tables if you want to see more food on tables. Also, consider supporting the channel on patreon.com/wowcrendor or by becoming a channel member. Okay? Okay. See ya.